All right, this is Chapter 7, Lesson 4, Solving and Writing Multiplication Equations. So we've already talked about solving and writing addition and subtraction equations. Now we're going to move into multiplication. So a multiplication equation is an equation like 3x equals 15 because the variable x is multiplied by 3. Multiplication and division are blank blank. So to solve a multiplication equation, use division. In those two blanks, you're going to write inverse operations. Okay, so just like dealing with anything else, addition is an inverse operation of subtraction. Subtraction is an inverse operation of addition. Multiplication is an inverse operation of division. Okay, so I can use division to solve multiplication equations. Alright, so let's take a look at a couple of examples. The first example I have says solve 2x equals 10. Check your solution. So I write the equation down, that's my first step. Then I divide both sides by 2. When I do that, 2 divided by 2 gives me 1, or just x, I'm left with x. And 10 divided by 2 equals 5. So I can check my solution. 2 times 5 equals 10, okay? 2 times 5 is 10, so 10 does equal 10, so my solution does check out. For number 2, I have solve 3x equals 6. So check your solution. Fill in the boxes below. 3x equals 6. So I want to divide both sides by the number, the constant that is attached to my variable. Doing that, I divide each side by the coefficient, which is 3. So when I divide both sides by the coefficient, 3x divided by 3 gives me x. 6 divided by 3 is 2. So x equals 2. Then I can substitute it back into my original equation. 3x equals 6, which is my original equation, and I substitute the 2 in, replace x with 2. 3 times 2 equals 6, so the sentence is true. If you divide each side of an equation by the same non-zero number, the two sides must remain equal to each other. Again, it's all about balancing, like we've done with addition and subtraction so far. So, in numbers, if I divide both sides of this equation by 6, I still get 3 on each side. Remember, it's still balanced, okay? In algebra, if I divide both sides by 3, for example, 3x divided by 3 is x, and 12 divided by 3 is 4. I still balanced both sides of my equation by doing the same operation to both sides. Okay? When you solve an equation by dividing both sides of the equation by the same number, you're using the blank, 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 blank. In those blanks, you're going to write division property of equality. So when you solve an equation by dividing both sides of the equation by the same number, you are using the division property of equality. So let's take a look at an example. Jeremiah and some friends shared the cost of a bunch of video games. The video games cost a total of $63 and each person contributed $9. How many people shared the cost of the video games? So, in words, amount each contributed times number of people equals the cost of the video games. Okay, so I'm taking the amount each of the people contributed, I'm multiplying it by the number of people that are there, that equals the cost of my video games. So let V represent the number of people that contributed money. 9 times V equals 63, because it's 9 people that contributed. I want to know how much money they brought, okay, to equal $63. Then I do 9 times V equals 63. I divide both sides of my equation by 9. When I do this, I get V equals 6. There are 6 people who split the cost of the video games. Okay. You can always go back and double check by substituting in what you got for your variable into your equation and then solving it. So in this case, 9 times 6 does give me 63. So my answer was true. So there are a couple of try problems out below. I want you to go ahead, pause the video, try them out, and when you're done, we'll go over the answers together. All right, now that you've had a chance to try out the try-out problems on your own, let's go over the answers together. So for letter A, I have 3 times C equals 9. So in this case, I'm going to divide both sides by 3. So C equals 3. For letter B, 16 equals H times 4. I divide both sides by 4. 16 divided by 4 is 4. And I'm left with H. For letter C, 23 equals A times 2. I divide both sides by 2. 23 divided by 2, 2 goes into 22 11 times, and I have half left over, so 11.5. For letter D, 20 equals B times 15. I divide both sides by 15. So when I do that, 15 goes into 21 times. Fifteen goes into 53 times. And it's just going to keep repeating. So 1.3 repeating. That's what that little bar means repeating. Okay. For letter E, in 2004, Penn Hadow and Simon Murray walked 680 miles to the South Pole. The trip took 58 days. Suppose they traveled the same distance each day. Write and solve the multiplication equation to find about how many miles they traveled each day. So there are 3 numbers in this problem. Not all the numbers are important. So if I look through, in 2004 is a year. It's not really important and doesn't have any bearing on the actual equation. So I just can cross it out. I don't have to worry about it. I'm left with 680 miles and 58 days. Well, I'm going to set up my equation and use H for the travelers. And it took 58 days. H is the number of miles they traveled each day, times 58 equals 680. So that's my equation. Now I want to go ahead and divide both sides by 58. So 680 divided by 58. So 680 divided by 58 gives me 11.72. So they traveled about 12 miles each day. All right, and that is the end of Chapter 7, Lesson 4.